What if I told you exactly how the United States of America was going to collapse and why? Would you listen? Hopefully, nation, because we're about to have that conversation. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. I get it. Some of y'all just listen while you're doing other things, and for subscribing to the channel and hitting thumbs up. Those things are truly appreciated and it helps the channel grow. So let's get straight into it this morning. This is why the United States of America will ultimately fall unless things are corrected, unless we correct course almost immediately. All right. And there are a lot of problems here in the United States. And you can make a case for a lot of the different things. We get dragged through another world war, for example, or if we have some sort of civil conflict here in the United States. But let me pitch some statistics to you, and then I'll make an argument. And look, although I'm not trying to dehumanize anybody this morning, I'm also not apologizing for what I say this morning because I'm speaking my truth. And if you're offended, you're just going to have to be offended. Okay. I don't mean that in a way of malice, but we need to start speaking the truth. So here we go. According to government statistics, and you had better take that with a grain of salt because the government ain't exactly Johnny Honest. You know what I'm saying? They spin. They do a lot of spinning. According to the government, we have 12 million illegals currently living in the United States of America. Now, me personally, I think it's a lot more than 12 million. I think that is a deflated number. But again, I don't have an exact number. I have to go with the statistics the government has released. I don't know that they know exactly how many people are here illegally. But let's call it for what it is, okay? Most of these people that sneak into our country, they don't speak the language. They don't speak the native tongue. Most have no real education to speak of, meaning they're not sneaking across the border with master's degrees. They're not sneaking across the border with skills that are in high demand, to be honest. We don't have a lot of electricians by trade, plumbers by trade, engineers or mechanics by trade sneaking across the border. Most of the people that are coming here have a very low educational background. Again, not trying to be mean, but it is what it is, and a very low skill set, menial skills at best. So, and they have no real plan as they sneak into the United States of America. They just trying to get across the border. They're trying to get into this country illegally, and then they have no real plan for success. There's no real plan. Now, maybe some do, okay? I'm not painting them all with one brush, but again, if you have a plan and you have an educational background and a skill set, there's no sense in sneaking in because the United States would welcome you with open arms, right? There's a process for this, but there's no plan for most of these folks to come here and stand on their own 2 feet. They intend to sneak in, work illegally under the table, doing a low skilled job somewhere, and avoid paying taxes. I mean, that's what's going on, folks. Yet, most that sneak into our country and that are doing this, again, working under the table, not paying a red cent in taxes, most of them are available for various programs. SNAP, which is food stamps. They get a lot of this stuff, okay? Temporary assistance for needy families, also known as TANF. In other words, an additional check because they are considered low income. Even though they're not supposed to be here, they're low income. So they get food stamps, they get, a check from the government or some sort of benefits card or something each month, full-blown Medicaid. And the bracket of Medicaid they get, there's no copay, hospital stays are free, things like this. They can qualify, many of them can qualify for HUD grants, which is, housing and urban development. Let's get these people in nice homes or decent homes. This one blows my mind. Some of them actually can qualify for Social Security. And I'm not even sure how that is, but again, it's listed on our own government's website. And of course, public education, if they have kids, these kids can now go to school for free. And once they're in school, they qualify for all of the programs that the school has set up free of charge. And again, various other federal and state programs just they just open wide for these people once they sneak into the country. Um, Let me give you some statistics this morning, okay? Here in the United States, this does not include uh, illegals or immigrants, whatever you want to call them. I still call them illegals because they're here illegally. Some people call them now undocumented immigrants, whatever. Same thing. This does not include those folks. America has 37.9 million American citizens that are in poverty. They're considered living in poverty, below the poverty level here in the United States, which means 37.9%, 37.9 million Americans also qualify for all of the programs that I just rambled off. We have 500,000 American citizens who are also homeless. I think they call it something else now, or they're starting to call the homeless population something else, but they're homeless. They have nowhere to go to speak of, okay? We have 6.37 million Americans who currently have no job, no income, not paying taxes, but are actively looking for a job, according to the federal government. Not included in that group, we also have an additional 5 million Americans, grown-ups, who were actively looking for a job and just gave up. And they're no longer, for whatever reason, the government gave several reasons, stay at home, parenting, fear of the COVID. There were a litany of excuses given, but they're just not even looking for a job anymore. They're going to become career stay at homes and collect checks sort of things. In other words, outside of illegal immigration, America already has its own issues, and we have a bunch of issues here at home that we need to take care of. Give you a prime example. Mayor Adams of New York City. He just recently said that New York City is going to be cutting 15% of all of its agencies. The ones that are funded by the cities. This is everything from the libraries to the police force to fire and rescue. In other words, he's telling taxpayers, hey, if you need the police, I know the crime is crazy, but the response time is about to get way slower. If you need the fire and rescue, it's about to get a lot slower for you. Sorry about your luck. I know you're funding the city, but we got to do what we got to do. And he's admitted migrants are the biggest reason that led to these cuts. Again, he calls them migrants. I call them illegals. It is what it is. But he's saying migrants led to this. We cannot, as the city of New York, we cannot continue to fund. We don't have the funding to continue to absorb these people, thousands at a time, that we refuse to turn away and say you can't stay here. America will collapse because our leaders would rather be politically correct than fix the problems that are obvious and in front of their faces. Um, the average American taxpayer, the working class American, I don't really like the term middle class, but you know what I'm saying. The people that go out and work the 9 to 5s, Monday through Friday, maybe some overtime, and pay taxes and pay into this system that we have. The American taxpayer, we're getting killed. right now across the board on all fronts. Um, we can't afford the food inflation, we can't afford the taxes, we can't afford, the property taxes, we can't afford the utilities that continue to go up. Everything's going up, and we just can't continue to do it. We can't honestly, if you pay taxes, you know what I'm talking about. You can't continue to play the game for much longer. There's almost it's gotten to the point now here in America where there's almost no incentive to go out and work and pay taxes. You sit around and you're thinking, what's the point? When you go to the grocery store, for example, you run into people that you know aren't working. Maybe you know them from town or something, and hey, they just don't work, and they're eating better than you are, and they're wearing better clothes than you are, and they're driving better vehicles and things like this. There's no incentive. What's the incentive? What is the American tax paying, the American worker actually getting out of it? What's the advantage at this point? Because it seems like everything that we make is either being used to support a lifestyle that is subpar to people that aren't working, and what's left over is being given to the illegals that are here. It's not a blueprint for success if you're trying to keep the country above water. And I don't know if our lawmakers are doing this on purpose, or I don't know if they're just arrogant or maybe just this stupid. But you cannot have a small portion of the United States paying for the large portion of the United States. You can't do that very long because then again, you have people leaving the workforce. Again, 5 million people just since the pandemic, I believe, or 2021 even. They're not even looking. They're like, what's the point? Um, I keep hearing the term affordable housing. We need affordable housing in these cities, and the latest place that I saw was New York City, and I get it. It's very expensive to live in these cities that are being flooded with illegals and have a homeless epidemic. They do. I mean, it's a huge issue. But I don't like the term affordable housing because this burden should not fall on landlords. Here's what I mean by this statement, okay? Let's say you're a landlord in New York City and you have a property. It's a large property. Maybe it used to be a warehouse or a factory or something. Excuse me. It's not your problem that lawmakers and the mayor and city council continue to take these illegals in. It's not your problem. The people that own property there should not be on the hook and should not be browbeat into going in to their property, paying out of their own pocket to retrofit and update this building and turn it into like a hotel for illegals. The burden should not fall on Americans that actually own things here in the United States. The burden should not fall on American taxpayers here in the United States. But it does. And if this is not fixed very, very soon, our country is finished. We are running out of time, folks. Let me put it to you in layman's terms, in prepping terms, because I know you folks are going to understand the prepping terms, okay? Just in case you're out there and you're like, what is John talking about? I don't understand what the problem is. Let me put it in prepping terms because most of you folks do prep and you understand prepping. And a lot of you get it already. But again, just in case there are a few out there. So let's say you have a family of 4 and you've prepared enough food, you've stacked enough food and water for your family for 1 year. All right, you're covered for 1 year. That's all fine and well. You've done the work, you've done the preparation, you've handled your business. But let's say you begin to take on hundreds of people. Hundreds. They just start showing up at your front door. They're coming in your home. They're looking for corners to squat in. They're telling you we need to fix this room up, expand it out, make it bigger. How long are your preps going to last when you have hundreds of people showing up unannounced? As we say in the prepping community, son, don't come here. If you haven't prepped, if you haven't handled your business, don't come here. and expect us to take care of you. Okay? Because the preps are not going to last long. Promise you. If you just allow people to start coming in with sympathy. And that's exactly what's happened in our country. We only have enough wealth and we only have enough stuff here for the people that are here. And we actually don't even have enough for that. We need to help our homeless. We need to get our veterans, especially, off the streets. We have poor kids who are Americans who can't afford to eat. We have people that are in really bad situations that are US citizens. We need to help those people, but we can't help those people because, again, we're getting killed because we have to support this huge wave that continues to hit us. Uh, these illegals that are leaders will not even call illegals because they're afraid to use the term. The term is too abrasive. You understand the problems right here in front of their face, but they're not going to be mean about it. They're going to tap dance around it and they're going to find any way they can to kick the can down the road. And folks, what I'm trying to tell you this morning, as a nation, we're out of road. We can't do this much longer. If we don't fix this illegal immigration, I'm talking about, and I don't care who this offends, stopping it at the border and mass deportations of the people that have already snuck in. We've got to reset this thing before it's too late. But I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong on this. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Y'all take care and God bless.